Now, I've been using ChatGPT for about a month now, ever since it came out. Now, throughout that time, I asked it various things in all kinds of different niches, anything related from software development to algorithms to operating system design to renting out properties, and even had some text-related questions last night. And I gotta say, I've been pretty amazed with this AI bot because for the most part, it gives you exactly what you're looking for, and it gives you pretty much the correct information. Now, I gotta admit that when I first discovered this tool, I was very, very concerned. Just like tons of other people on the internet, judging by all kinds of videos, I was concerned that this tool is gonna single-handedly erase a whole industry of software development. I was concerned that this tool is going to eliminate the need for programmers, software engineers, designers, etc., etc. And I don't even know how many other industries and how many other people could be laid off because this tool exists. I was also facing another dilemma. Now that there's a tool that generates code for you, I was wondering, well, what's going to happen with all the no-code tools? Are people just going to dump all the no-code tools and use this tool to generate code and build apps this way, or is this something else going to affect? Because at the end of the day, you can't use this tool to help you build apps with no code. And this is a dilemma that I kept thinking about for a while. Well, after using this tool for a while now, it finally dawned on me that most people completely misunderstand the purpose of this tool, and they may not be using it to its full potential. And so in today's video, I'm going to tell you what the real purpose of this tool is, and also give you 5 ways that you can leverage this tool to help you build apps with no code, but faster, easier, with less hassle and more enjoyment. And before we go further, I just want to let you know that all the information that I'm going to be covering in today's video is going to be available on my Patreon page, which you're going to find using the link in the description below. Now, the first thing I want to say about ChatGPT is an assistant. It's an incredible assistant. It's one of the best assistants out there, but all it is an assistant. It helps you achieve various tasks quicker and easier. And no, it's not going to destroy engineering jobs. It's not going to put people out of work, at least not yet. But right now, it's an awesome assistant that helps you get your stuff done, that helps you with your work, regardless if you are doing coding, no coding, or anything else. There are ways of getting it to help you become more efficient with your work. And so now let's talk about 5 concrete examples where using ChatGPT is going to help you immensely with no code, with the kind of stuff you're probably working on right now. And if you watch until the end of the video, I'm going to give you a special bonus tip that you definitely need to know, because it's definitely going to make your lives a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable when it comes to building apps. Now, the first tip is that you want to use it to help you create a plan for simple or complex apps that you're planning to build. And so here's a really good example. I said, give me an outline of how I can build a clone of Telegram. And this is the response. To build a clone of the messaging app Telegram, you will need to follow these steps. So it's telling me to pick a programming language. You can ignore it. Set up development environment. You can ignore it. But these things are very, very important. Design the user interface. Okay, you will need to design the user interface. And now we're getting to the meat. Implement the core functionality. You will need to implement the core functionality of your clone Telegram, including the ability to send and receive messages, create and join groups, share media, such as images and video, okay? And so I went down and I asked it to give me a detail, give me in details number 4, because I wanted to kind of elaborate on it. And it's telling me in step 4, we're doing this, and here is the stuff in detail. So it's telling me implement the messaging functionality, implement the group chat functionality, implement the media sharing functionality, and implement user accounts. And this is very, very valuable. This is amazing that it's able to kind of give you a list of the things that you need to do for a specific project, because this is exactly what I do myself whenever I start designing a new app. This is exactly what I do. I try to figure out what kind of functionality I want to include in the app and, the scope of the functionality. So this is very, very helpful. Let me give you another example. How can I design a clone of Airbnb? To design a clone of the vacation rental platform Airbnb, you will need to consider the following factors, okay? So user experience is telling me host and guest profiles, very important, property listings, booking and payment process, community features. So I wanted it to elaborate on property listings, okay? So I said, tell me more about part 3. In step 3, we are designing, you will need to design the layout and functionality of the property listings, okay? So it's telling me, here are some of the things I might want to include in the app. Property information, photos and videos, search and filter functionality, reviews and ratings, contact information, okay? Very, very useful, very, very helpful. And remember, guys, you can go further, right? You can ask it to kind of give you a code or give you an outline or, give you maybe another variation or give you the scope or, you can ask it, tell me how hard is it to implement? Tell me if I can leave something out. There's so many things that you can do, and this is very, very powerful. Let me give you a final example. How can I design a clone of Tinder? Okay, we've done Tinder apps several times on this channel with FlutterFlow and other builders, Adalo, I believe. So that is a topic you guys should be familiar with. And so to design a clone of the dating app Tinder, you will need to consider the following factors: user profiles, matching algorithm, chat functionality, swipe feature, profile discovery. So right away, I focused on matching algorithm, right? Algorithm is the key. And I talk a lot about this in my new FlutterFlow course that you're going to see in the link in the description below. Very, very important, this algorithm. Because a lot of apps, most of the apps, they have a certain algorithm that's kind of the key of the app. And so naturally, I asked it to kind of elaborate more on that. Tell me more about part 2. In step 2 of designing, you will need to design the matching algorithm. So it's kind of giving you some information, determining the matching criteria, implementing the matching algorithm, and testing and refining, okay? So you can go further, right? This is still fairly general. You can go further and you can say, well, how do I do it? Show me code, show me pseudocode, right? Show me this, show me that. And this is awesome, regardless if you're doing coding or no coding, doesn't matter. You still need to design an algorithm. Like FlutterFlow is not going to give you an algorithm. Very, very important. And so this is something that I do manually whenever I start building apps, and have this tool do it for you. It's incredible. It truly is incredible, because I might miss something. And frankly, it's going to save me time from doing it myself, right? I can just send a request, get a bunch of things I need to do, a bunch of features, etc., and I don't have to worry about it. So this is very, very powerful. The next tip is that you can ask ChatGPT general technical questions, regardless what kind of tool you're using, regardless what kind of app you're building. And this is going to be useful if you're not sure about something. You're not sure if you want to implement this technology. You're not sure how it works. You're not sure, if this is going to be useful to you. Let me show you some examples. So here I have a query that's asking for the difference between local storage and API. Okay, so what is the difference between local storage and API? It's a pretty basic query, but it gives you an idea of what kind of an answer you can expect to get. Local storage and API are two different ways of storing and accessing data. And so it's telling you local storage on the user is on the user's device. API refers to a set of protocols, etc., etc. And then I went ahead and asked and told it, give me an example of an API. Okay, so it gave me an example of an API. And you can go more. You can say, well, create an API for me. Create an API of apartment listings. You can go deeper, right? This is just about general questions. Let me show you another example. What is the difference between Firebase, Supabase, and Pocketbase, right? Great products. I'm actually going to have a video on Supabase coming up very, very soon, and maybe also on Pocketbase as well. So stay tuned for that. And so it's telling you, These are all cloud-based platforms that provide tools and services. However, they have some differences in terms of the specific features and services they offer. Firebase is a platform developed by Google. Supabase is an open source platform. Pocketbase is a cloud-based platform that provides a range of tools and services. So you can get an idea of, do you wanna implement it using a Supabase? Do you wanna have Supabase inside of your app? Do you wanna leverage Firebase or maybe use Pocketbase? You get an idea. You get a really quick response. Here's another example here. Does Firebase Auth support Apple or Google? I want to know. Okay, it definitely supports Google because it's built by Google. But what about Apple, right? Does it support Apple sign-on? Yes, Firebase Auth supports both Apple and Google as providers for user authentication. So it's telling you this. You got your answer. You don't need to Google. You don't need to go to Stack Overflow. You don't need to go to documentation pages. You essentially get a quick answer to your question without wasting a lot of time. And now you know that if you want to support both Apple and Google Auth, you can use Firebase Auth. Very, very awesome. Lots and lots of other examples that you can use, but I wanted to show you a few here just to give you an idea how it works. The next tip is that you can ask it tool-specific questions. Okay, so we're not talking about general questions. We are not talking about, write me, the outline of an app I'm looking to build. We are talking about specific questions having to do with the tool that you are using. So maybe you're using FlutterFlow, okay? You're not sure about what are FlutterFlow actions. Well, you can ask it. And so in this example, I basically asked it to give me an explanation, to explain to me what are FlutterFlow actions. And so here it's telling me what FlutterFlow is, and then it's telling me some examples of actions in FlutterFlow might include these. In FlutterFlow, actions are represented by visual blocks that can be added to the application's workflow. Developers can connect these blocks together to create a flow of actions that defines the behavior of the application. Okay? So it kind of explained to me, obviously I can push for more. I can say, give me an example. Is this an action, that an action? Give me an example of this action. It can do all that, but that's a query having to do with NoCode tool. We're not writing code. We're just, getting more knowledge. We're collecting data. Okay, so here's another example right here. What is the difference between FlutterFlow custom actions and FlutterFlow custom functions? Okay, so FF, it knows that's FlutterFlow because I already talked about FlutterFlow in the same thread. It's context aware. It understands what FF is. And so it's telling me in FlutterFlow, custom actions and custom functions are two types of custom functionality that can be added to an application. And so it went on to kind of explain me the difference so that I am more clear now in terms of what they are and how I can use them inside of my app. So custom actions are specific tasks or operations that can be performed within an application. Custom functions, on the other hand, are pieces of code that can be used to platform specific tasks, to perform specific tasks or operations within an application. Okay, so it's give me a summary. So there you go. You got an understanding of a specific feature set within a specific tool that you're working with. I would say that's very, very helpful. Here's another example. What are the advantages of creating a custom FlutterFlow widget? Okay, there are several advantages to creating a custom FlutterFlow widget, and it's giving you a list. And this could be useful if you are just getting started with a tool such as FlutterFlow and you're not sure, right? This is your first day or a second day and you're not sure what are these custom widgets? What do they do, right? I know when I just started with FlutterFlow, I had no idea what this was. I didn't know what actions were, what functions were. I understood it, as the process, as I started to kind of work with the tool more and more through the process. But if you're just starting out, this could be useful for you. Here's a final example there. How can I test a FlutterFlow app? I missed the word app here, on a real Android emulator. And it understood that I meant a FlutterFlow app. To test a FlutterFlow app on a real Android emulator, you will need to do the following steps. Install the Android emulator, build the app, install the app on the emulator. So it's telling me this will generate an APK file that can be installed on an Android emulator, you will need to transfer the APK file to the emulator and install or test the app. Testing a FlutterFlow app on a real Android emulator allows you to test the app in real-world environment and ensures that it is compatible with a wide range of devices and configurations. So here's another example of a question that I've seen a lot of people talk about. Okay, how do I test this? How do I launch that? FlutterFlow has documentation on this, right? But if you can't be bothered to go and search documentation, I know in many cases I can't be bothered myself. I just want to get the answer, and so I may be googling for it, or you can use ChatGPT to give you the exact answer, the exact step-by-step instructions to do exactly what you want to do. And so this is extremely useful in situations where you're using a third-party tool to do something like build an app, but you're not sure of all the functionality or all the features, and you need to kind of double check and see what they mean. You need another explanation, maybe another opinion, maybe you've read documentation, you're still not sure. Very, very useful. The next tip I have for you is you can ask ChatGPT to generate a little scripts for you that are going to be very, very useful when combined with the app that you're trying to build. So let me give you an example. So in this example, we asked the tool to write me a script that imports CSV data into a Firestore database. If you've used Firestore database for any length amount of time, you probably know that this is something you have to do all the time, right? You can create a Firestore database from scratch, but if you have data, maybe you downloaded somewhere, you have a data sheet somewhere, you have CSV data, maybe you have an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets, you can export it as CSV. But importing it into Firestore is a pain. Well, no longer. Here you have a script that essentially does that. You just need your credentials that you can get from your Firebase account. You could just have the credentials here, and then you have the file here, and then it basically reads the file and imports all your data into your Firestore database. Very, very useful. I know I'm definitely going to be using this a lot from now on. Here's another example. Write me a script that imports 10 images into a Firebase storage bucket. Okay, so maybe you're building an app and you need some images and you're accessing a Firebase storage bucket. You don't want to download those images and then upload them to the storage bucket. You want that storage bucket to have maybe 100 images, maybe 1,000 images. Well, here's a script that imports 10 images into a Firebase storage bucket. Okay, you need your credentials, your storage bucket here, and then you need the path to the images. Okay, and that's it. And then it's actually telling you a little bit. The script assumes that you have a valid Firebase credentials stored in here, that you have 10 images stored here. The script iterates through the images and creates a new storage blob for each image, uploading the image to the blob. Incredible. Incredible. I mean, this would take a normal person like maybe a half an hour just to kind of research and bring it together and test it out, but you have it right here. Here's another example. Write me a script that generates 100 random users in a CSV file format, right? So this is kind of like the precursor to that other example where we are importing CSV data. So certainly, here's a script that generates 100 random users in CSV format. So we have the names, we have list of possible names, list of possible ages, a list of possible genders, and it's also telling you like what the script does. So, and then it generates this users.csv that you can take, feed in that other example, and feed into your Firebase Firestore DB. And now you have a way of generating, you have, what is this, 100 random users. We have 100 here. You can put 1,000. It's going to create 1,000 random users. Very, very useful. These little scripts, right? We're not talking about building a whole app. We're talking about these little scripts that are just a pain to write, that are just, they help you out. They're like the glue. They're like the glue. They help you glue different things. We're not building a FlutterFlow app. We're not building a Flutter app. We're just these little scripts. And believe me, if you're building apps, you're going to have a lot of these little scripts, and now you can just generate them in a couple of seconds. Tip number 5 is you can get ChatGPT to build you simple custom widgets for your FlutterFlow app. Let me show you an example. So here we have Write me a FlutterFlow custom widget that displays hello world. Certainly, here's a custom FlutterFlow widget that displays the text hello world, and you have this widget here, okay? And it's even explaining it to you. This widget is a simple stateless widget that displays, so you can take this widget, copy, paste it into your custom widget area inside FlutterFlow, and you're gonna have a custom widget that displays something very, very simple. Here's another example. Write me a FlutterFlow custom widget that displays the current time. Same thing, it displays the current time. Instead of it displaying hello world, it's gonna display the current time. And every time the time is gonna be updated, it's gonna rebuild and display you the current time. So it's gonna be constantly updating. Here we have write me a FlutterFlow custom function this time that turns text into an uppercase, okay? So here you have a custom function. It's a one-liner. It also gave you an example how you can use it inside a custom widget, but all you're gonna do is copy and paste this part inside your custom functions area inside FlutterFlow. Here's an example where we are generating a custom function that returns the first word of a string, okay? There you go. You're gonna copy and paste that into your custom functions inside of FlutterFlow. Now, those were the 5 ways that are going to help you leverage ChatGPT when it comes to your no-code apps. And for those of you that are still watching the video, I want to give you some bonus tips that are going to bring everything together and help you make even better and more amazing apps. So in this example, we are asking ChatGPT to give us an idea for a web app that lets users randomly chat with each other. Okay, so one idea is, a random chat app. This app could allow users to sign up and create a profile and then connect them with a random user for a one-on-one chat. To keep the conversation fresh and entertaining, the app could allow users to change their chat topics, and then it says some potential features for the app could include, etc., etc. Okay, so I just asked it to brainstorm, to help me kind of brainstorm. Give me a random idea for an app. And it came up with some interesting ideas. Here, I'm asking the bot to write me a sales letter. Okay, write me a sales page for my app that matches dog walkers to dog owners. Let's say I'm building an app that's matching dog walkers to dog owners, okay? And it actually created a sample sales page. And so here's the sales page. Welcome to the dog walker match app. Are you a busy dog owner? With the dog walker matchup, you can easily find a reliable and trustworthy dog walker to take care of your furry friend while you're at work or running errands. How it works, it's giving you some benefits. It's telling you how it works. Don't waste any more time trying to coordinate your dog walks on your own, etc., etc. So if you're building an app and you want to sell it, this could be an angle that you can go for. You can actually ask it to build a sales letter for your app, for the app that you're building. Incredible. Let me show you something else. How about this right here? Write me a cold email for my new app that matches dog walkers to dog owners. Certainly, here's a sample cold email for a new app that matches dog walkers to dog owners. All right? I hope this email finds you well. My name is your name, and I'm the creator of the dog walker match app. Are you a busy dog owner, etc., etc.? And it's giving you, it's telling the person who's receiving the email how it works. And then it's saying there's the call to action. If you're interested, don't hesitate to reach out, etc., etc. And let me show you something else that you can do. Tell me 5 categories of users that might be interested in my dog walking app. Here are 5 categories of users that might be interested in your dog walking app. So it's giving you an audience. Right? It's giving you ideas. You can say 10 categories, maybe 15 categories. I don't know. Busy dog owners, dog lovers, professional dog walkers, pet sitting services, dog daycares and kennels. So not only can we build the app, we can get an idea for an outline of the app. We can create some features that we can implement inside our app. We can generate a landing page, a sales page. We can generate a cold email. We can find our audience. Maybe you want to run ads, online ads, Google ads, whatever. And now maybe you can create 5 campaigns here, right? Amazing, right? We have all this. And obviously this is scraping the top of the barrel here, right? Lots and lots of things that you can do. You can ask it to expand on this. You can ask it to create 5 more. 5 more categories of users. You can ask it to write a sales letter targeted to these users. Lots and lots of things that you can do. Even as I'm talking about this, I'm getting ideas on my own. So lots of amazing things that you can do. And then you have the other 5 things that are going to help you to build apps. This last set of tips is to kind of help you to sell the app, or at least help you to market the app as well. And so now hopefully you have the tips, you have the arsenal of tools that not only help you build a better app, an app that you can build faster using no-code tools, but you also have ways of marketing the app, of reaching out to prospective customers or clients, getting people together, building a community. You can pretty much do everything and more using ChatGPT. And that is why, in my opinion, it's one of the most amazing assistants out there. It's truly a game changer. And that is why you must go out and leverage its capabilities when it comes to the apps that you are building. Now, if you're serious about no-code, you are serious about taking your no-code knowledge up a notch or 2 or 3 or 10, and you are truly serious about developing and launching an app maybe in the upcoming year, then you definitely want to check out my Patreon page. Not only will you get access to all the apps that I've built, whether it's FlutterFlow or some of the other no-code builders, but you also get access to extra content such as Q&As, live streams, behind-the-scenes content, as well as my current masterclass series where I'm doing deep dives in various areas where a lot of people mentioned they're having issues with. And so I'm planning to do another masterclass shortly, and that's going to be available exclusively to our Patreon members. And above all, joining my Patreon community is an amazing way of supporting this channel and supporting my work. So if you have not yet joined, I highly urge of you to come out, check it out, and hopefully join our amazing growing community. And so this will do it for this video. I really hope you've gotten value here. Like this video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more no-code content. And I'll talk to you guys in a future video.